Adjusting the mind frequency to attract money, the success frequency channel. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever experienced that moment of perfect clarity while searching for stations while listening to the radio? 1 second before, it was a mess of static, and then suddenly it transforms into crystal clear music, and the world seems to change. Tonight, you will discover that secret frequency adjustment knob of your mind. Because just like radio waves, money can reach you at specific mental frequencies. Does it sound impossible? Then let me tell you about that incredible moment Nikola Tesla experienced in his Colorado laboratory in 18. While Tesla was conducting electrical experiments with his giant coils, he noticed something that stunned him. The electric current he operated at certain frequencies created vibrations, even in the windows of his laboratory. But the truly amazing part was this. These vibrations were turning lamps on and off miles away. Tesla discovered a profound truth that night. Everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. What about our minds? When Napoleon Hill studied the wealthiest people of his time like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison for 20 years, he noticed the same thing. The minds of these people seemed to operate on the same frequency, and that frequency was the frequency of abundance. Now let's discover this frequency together. The first wave, the frequency of desire. The first great secret Hill teaches us is this. The starting point of all achievement is a burning desire. But beware, we are not talking about a simple wish here. Most of us say, I wish I were rich, and move on. That is just hope, not a frequency. Real desire vibrates continuously like a frequency. It keeps you awake at night. It's your first thought in the morning. It changes the rhythm of your breath. When Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times trying to invent the light bulb, journalists asked him, how does it feel to fail 10,000 times? Edison replied, I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the frequency of desire. Even failure cannot stop it because it is no longer just a thought. It is the essence of one's being. Now ask yourself, do you go to bed at night without spending a single moment thinking about your money? Does not thinking about money cause you pain? If the answer is no, you are not yet on the right frequency. The second wave, the electromagnetic field of belief. Let's go back to Tesla. He discovered that electromagnetic fields are invisible but very real. Similarly, mental belief has an invisible but measurable electromagnetic field. Joe Dispenza's research confirmed this. Strong emotional states can expand the heart's electromagnetic field up to 3 meters. This field truly affects the events and people around us. Henry Ford knew this very well. When he decided to produce the Model T, his engineers told him, a V8 engine is impossible. Ford's answer was clear and firm, produce it anyway. You find out how. For 2 years, the engineers said, impossible. And Ford said, produce it. Finally, they did. Ford's belief was so strong that impossibility melted away in the electromagnetic field of that belief. What about you? Do you truly believe you have already earned your money? Or are you just hoping? Because hope is future tense. Belief is present tense. Money lives in the present. The third wave, auto-suggestion. The mind's radio station. One of Tesla's greatest discoveries was the wireless transmission of energy. What about the wireless transmission of thought? Hill called this auto-suggestion, the invisible connection between mind and mind. The words you repeat every day are like programs broadcasting from your mind's radio transmitter. And who is listening to these programs? Your subconscious. Your subconscious is a radio receiver that is open 24 hours a day and never sleeps. Whatever you command with your transmitter, it works to realize it. Andrew Carnegie used this very effectively. Every morning he would stand in front of the mirror and say, by the end of this year, I will be the richest man in America, and this wealth will come from my leadership in the steel industry. He repeated this for days, months, and years. His subconscious received this message and presented him with every opportunity, every connection, and every inspiration that led him to that wealth. What message are you sending every day? Is it money isn't enough, I'm in a difficult situation, I have debts, or is it money comes to me easily? Opportunities find me. I work with people who understand my value. Remember, the subconscious has no language. It only understands emotions and images. When you say, I will not be poor, it hears the word poor and brings you more poverty. Instead say, I am wealthy. I am in abundance. I am valuable. The fourth wave, the geometry of the definite plan. Tesla's inventions were not random. Behind each one were mathematically perfect plans. Similarly, Wealth does not come by chance. A definite plan is required. Napoleon Hill explains it like this. To reach the goal of wealth, determine the exact date you will arrive. Know exactly how much money you want. Plan what you will give in return for that money. John D. Rockefeller applied this perfectly. When he started working at an accounting firm at age 16 for a daily wage of 50 cents, he set his goal to save $100,000. Before age in 1855, this was equivalent to about $3 million today. Rockefeller put his plan on paper. He calculated how much he needed to save every day. He determined which business field he would work in. He listed which skills he needed to develop. And at age 26, he exceeded this goal. The more detailed your plan, the easier it is for the subconscious to realize that goal. Vague goals produce vague results. The fifth wave, the power of the mastermind alliance. Tesla did not work alone. He formed a team that shared his vision and could see the future of electricity. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind alliance. When two or more minds come together around a common goal, a mastermind emerges that is much more powerful than individual minds. This is not just a mathematical union, but a psychological and energetic one. Walt Disney used this magnificent. Disney was not just a cartoonist. He possessed three different personalities: the dreaming Walt, the realistic Walt, and the critical Walt. In his large projects, these three minds were in constant interaction. While building Disneyland, banks rejected the project as madness. But Disney's Mastermind Alliance, engineers, artists, storytellers, financiers, together turned that impossible dream into reality. Who is in your Mastermind Alliance? Is it friends who complain about not having money? Or is it people who share your vision and focus on lifting you up? The sixth wave, the frequency that eliminates fear. Tesla's greatest fear was electric shock. But instead of living with fear, he found a way to eliminate it. By subjecting his body to high-frequency electric current, he developed immunity. Once fear disappeared, genius emerged. For most of us, the greatest fear is failure, but your real fear is different. The fear of being successful, because success brings new responsibilities, requires a new identity, and means the death of your old self. Franklin Roosevelt described this fear. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear is a frequency and operates at a low vibration. If you want to attract abundance, you must leave the frequency of fear and move to the frequency of courage. The practical way to do this is simple. Do the thing you fear, every day, in small steps. Warren Buffett was so afraid of public speaking as a child that he enrolled in a Dale Carnegie course twice, but didn't go. He went the third time and learned to speak. Today, his courage lies at the heart of being one of the world's most respected investors. The seventh wave, the hologram of visualization. Tesla's greatest talent was his ability to create perfect holograms in his mind. Before building a machine, he would run it in his mind, examine its parts, and even calculate wear and tear. Then he would leave the mental machine, and when he returned months later, he could see which parts had worn out. How clear is your wealth hologram? Just thinking I will have a lot of money is not enough. Napoleon Hill says, you must see the amount of money in your mind, as clearly as if you could count it. Jim Carrey, before he was famous, wrote himself a check for $10 million, and carried it in his wallet. Every day he would take out that check, and live the moment of earning that money in his mind. He placed that check in his father's casket when he died. Because it was no longer needed, that money had become real. Visualization is not just dreaming. It is your mind living that future moment right now. The subconscious sees no difference in time. To it, that money is in your pocket right now. The eighth wave, the continuity of the persistence frequency. There was a machine in Tesla's laboratory that ran 20 hours a day. The only time it stopped was for maintenance. Tesla said, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration and persistence. The biggest test on the path to wealth is persistence. Most people give up at the first obstacle because they expect instant results. But wealth is a process, not an event. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he hit the road to sell his KFC recipe. 1,009 restaurants rejected him. The 1,010th restaurant owner said yes. Today, KFC is a multi-billion-dollar brand. Sanders said of persistence, I'm not successful because I'm smart. I'm successful because I persisted. How is your persistence frequency? Do you give up at the first no? Or do you, like Edison, see every no as one step closer to your goal? The ninth wave, the rhythmic harmony of timing. Tesla loved music and used musical rhythms in his discoveries. He said, "The universe is rhythmic. If you catch this rhythm, you work in harmony with the universe." Money is also rhythmic. There are times of flow and times of arrival. Successful people catch this rhythm and act accordingly. When Ray Kroc offered to buy McDonald's, the McDonald brothers refused. They said, "Not now." Kroc waited 2 years, then offered again. This time they accepted. Kroc had waited for the timing and acted at the right moment. How is your timing? Do you move too early, too late, or do you take steps at the right moment? By listening to the rhythm. The 10th wave, the magnetic field of service. Tesla's greatest motivation was to serve humanity. "My inventions are not for me, but for the world," he would say. This spirit of service gave him infinite creative energy. Napoleon Hill says, "Wealth is the result of the value you give to others. The more people you serve, the more money you earn." Oprah Winfrey exemplifies this perfectly. She doesn't just do a show, she heals, empowers, and inspires people. Her desire to serve is so strong that her multi-billion-dollar fortune has been a natural result. Andrew Carnegie donated most of his fortune to build libraries. He said, "The man who dies rich, dies disgraced." He did not earn that fortune just for himself. He earned it to serve society. What is your service frequency? Do you only think about your own need, or do you think about how you can add value to the world? Time to adjust the frequency. Now we come to the most critical question. How will you adjust this frequency? Every morning when you wake up, dedicate your first 5 minutes to this ritual. Breath frequency. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. This tunes your mind to the abundance frequency. Visual frequency. Visualize the moment your money arrives. Feel that happiness, pride, and peace right now. Verbal frequency. Say, "Money comes to me easily. Those who see my value find me. I am getting wealthier every day." Gratitude frequency. Give thanks for what you have right now. Gratitude is the highest vibration of the abundance frequency. Tesla says, "The future of the day is determined by the present frequency of our mind." If you practice this ritual every day, your frequency will change within 30 days, and results will appear within 90 days. The scientific basis of frequency adjustment. Modern quantum physics confirms Napoleon Hill. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research shows that our thoughts change our gene expression. Positive thoughts activate positive genes. Negative thoughts activate negative ones. Furthermore, our brain's reticular activating system acts as a focus filter. Whichever frequency you choose, the RS shows you opportunities compatible with that frequency. If you are on the poverty frequency, you see problems. If you are on the abundance frequency, you see opportunities. This is a scientific fact. It is neurological, not mystical. Interference that breaks the frequency. Be careful, some things break your frequency. Complaining, watching scary news, spending time with negative people, living in the mistakes of the past, envy of others. These are mental parasites and distance you from the abundance frequency. Evidence of frequency adjustment. This is not just theory. Millions of people applied these principles and got results. Tony Robbins was born into a poor family. Today he has a fortune of $500 million. Sarah Blakely started with $5,000. Today she is $1 billion. Howard Schultz came from poverty and founded Starbucks. Jack Ma failed to get into university 3 times and created Alibaba. Their common point: they had tuned their minds to the abundance frequency. The final wave, the legacy of frequency. When Tesla died, he didn't leave a fortune, but his inventions formed the basis of trillion-dollar industries today. Real wealth is not just money, it is the value you create. In the words of Napoleon Hill, wealth is not just money. Wealth is the capacity to serve others. What kind of wealth will you create? Just for yourself, or for future generations? Time to change the frequency. And now, as we come to the end of this long conversation, one last question for you. What frequency will your mind be on as you fall asleep tonight? If this message resonates in your soul, if you are ready to change your frequency, now is the time to start. Because as Tesla said, the future is the product of your thoughts today. Everything is energy, everything is frequency, and tonight, You have the power to adjust your frequency. Welcome to the frequency of abundance. Now it is not the time for listening. It is the time for application. Turn the radio dial of your mind. Catch the frequency that attracts money. And stay on that frequency, because the universe hears your new vibration, and it is preparing to answer.